It was the news conference that was seen around the world, heard around the world, and everybody's still buzzing about it and talking about it. So let's go to the White House where it all happened. It's Harrison Fields. He's the principal deputy press secretary for President Trump. Harrison, good to see you. Quite a day, huh?
Quite a day. America's back.
Were you in that room?
I was not. I was just in lower press, which is probably 50 feet away. But let me tell you, you could feel the energy from the West Wing all throughout the building.
We've all seen it now. We've all heard it now. I found President Trump's patience to be really, really key in the entire thing. I've watched the whole thing, posted it everywhere. We played it on the show several times before this interview. Obviously, Zelensky came in to tell in front of the media for some reason, in front of the world, President Trump and Vice President Vance that diplomacy doesn't work. And somehow I don't know if he changed thoughts and he wasn't going to sign the deal. Maybe he wanted money. Going into this sit down today, it was a very simple one, right? Just sign the mineral deal and let's get some peace in the region.
Yeah, he came here and he totally misplayed his cards. He came to a room that was ready to negotiate a peace deal, and he obviously wanted to continue some form of a war in which President Trump, doesn't want to continue.
Right.
So it was very easy for Zelensky to come into this room, shake his hand, enjoy being in the Oval Office. Not many people get to say they go into the Oval Office, meet with the President of the United States, and actually achieve peace. He wanted to showboat. He wanted to be all about himself. He wanted to continue more of the insane policies that has led to so many deaths and destruction in his country. And President Trump was like, you've got a new sheriff in town.
Yeah.
Enough is enough. We need to bring our Vladimir Zelensky and Vladimir Putin in the same room and get peace done. And it seemed like Zelensky wasn't prepared for peace today. It was very disappointing.
Well, it really was. I think it was disappointing to just about everybody who's an even-handed thinker. Those of us in America should all be on the side of President Trump. But yet we're seeing some people on the left in this country like applauding Zelensky. I'll get into that in a second with Harrison Fields. But I want to continue on what you said. The whole idea was come in, shake hands, take a few pictures, maybe do a news conference. If you wanted to bring up those issues, you do it behind closed doors. And I think the vice president, rightfully so, said, hey, why are you disrespecting us in front of the American media? I'm not sure why you're going there, but let me tell you a little something. We'd like to stop the killing. We'd like to stop you being forced to conscript people to go to the front lines. And again, President Trump shows an amount of patience that I know the man to have. I've met him. But then when he let loose, he said, you've talked enough. You don't have the cards to play here. I mean, the president went in today, I'm thinking, was going to be, a great photo op with the handshaking, as you said, and walk away with, we got a deal done, thank God, the dying will end. How surprised do you think the president was that Zelensky took that turn?
Zelensky is hard to read sometimes, and
Yeah.
I think President Trump did think that he was going to come here in good faith and actually sign a deal and do what he needed to do, not just for his country, but for the entire world. But Zelensky obviously chose a different pathway today. This is the fifth country to come and visit the White House in 39 days. 5 countries in
Amazing.
39 days. Every single leader who has visited with President Trump in the Oval Office has done so with a level of decorum worthy of that leadership position. Zelensky did not do that today. He had an opportunity just to sit tight, enjoy the moment, talk with reporters, a couple interviews, and then go on to lunch. My office was right next to where the lunch was being conducted. The plates were already set. The
Wow.
salad was already dressed for a working lunch and then going on to a press conference in which the mineral deals would have been signed. But Zelensky completely blew all that up because, again, he wanted to make it all about himself. He had an opportunity to sit there and understand the moment, and he completely misread the room, and he decided to put his country in a worse position today than it was yesterday.
Principal Deputy Press Secretary for President Trump, it's Harrison Fields. We appreciate you coming to us from the White House. That's the background that you see here. So the president very quickly, and I agree with him, I think most Americans agree with him, canceled everything. There's not going to be a news conference, no signing, no lunch. I think that Zelensky canceled some visit he was going to make to the Ukraine house or something. What happens now? Because I know Donald Trump. I've interviewed him 14 times, met him at the White House, interviewed him there. I think he's a forgiving guy. Think about it. Zelensky's the guy. That phone call was the reason for the first impeachment. Zelensky's the guy who just campaigned a few months ago for Kamala Harris in Pennsylvania. So Trump already has open arms for a guy that wasn't necessarily his friend. I get the feeling, though, if Zelensky says, you know what, language barrier, I messed up, sorry about that, we can get this back on track. Is there any inside information you could tell us about that? How do you get this back on track?
Listen, the president's end goal is always going to be peace. Today
Mm.
was a major setback for that, but the president is steadfast in wanting this war to end. He's the only adult in the room when it comes to him and Zelensky, and he will make sure that world peace is achieved in one fashion or another. But today was a bad sign. It showed that Zelensky wasn't serious. President Trump was prepared to get this middle deal, which would have meant billions, if not trillions of dollars for the United States of America, security for both Ukraine and the United States. And Zelensky completely just ripped up the deal like he was Nancy Pelosi on at the State of the Union.
Right.
It's so bad what he did today. It was very disturbing to watch. And the United States is really looking and saying, wow, we just shelled out $350 billion to a guy who has no level of graciousness towards us. It was really a bad look for him. I think the American people who have just been over this war are saying, wow, President Trump was right all around, all along about
Yeah.
this guy. And hopefully we can get to a place where we can find an agreement. But Zelensky's got to dig very deep and realize that his country is not in a strategically strong position. He has to come to the table in good faith and find a pathway to peace, because that's where the president is at.
Any response, Harrison, from the president or the White House as a whole about people like Eric Swalwell, the usual suspects coming out and saying Zelensky really took on Trump? He showed Trump. He actually said that the guy has balls. I don't know if he meant basketballs or what. But any comment from the president directly about those on the left not ever finding anything positive in this president and seemingly coming out on the other side against America?
Well, we don't take people who are sleeping with Chinese spies seriously here at the
There you
White
go.
House, so I won't have anything to say to Eric Swalwell. But for the left that is somehow taking the side of Zelensky, they're not reading the room either. The American people voted, 77 million of them, for the diplomacy of Donald Trump, who had promised peace, not just in the Middle East, but also in Eastern Europe. This is what the American people want. We do not need to shell out a single dime over to Eastern Europe anymore, because diplomacy is the answer. We
Yeah.
can get to the table and bring peace. If we're just throwing money at the problem, which Washington, D.C. seems to do so well, we are not achieving anything. President Trump is a peace president. He wants to see that across the entire world. The Democrats seem to just want to throw money at this problem and just wait another 3 years and probably millions of more people dead before they think maybe their strategy isn't working. That is insane behavior. President Trump is a leader in this issue, and he's making sure that peace is going to be achieved one way or another.
Harrison Fields, Principal Deputy Press Secretary, joining us from the White House today. We appreciate the time and the access. That story is going to continue to evolve, and we'll keep our eyes on it. Hopefully we can talk again about that. One thing that I've noticed, though, and I love this, is the transparency. I think you probably have seen this study. If not, I'll bring it up now. President Biden, in his first 1 month, from the 20th of January to the 19th of February, took 141 questions. I find that to be a lot, but maybe it was mostly about ice cream. When it comes to President Trump, he took 1,009 questions in that same period of time since January 20th to February 19th. Since then, I think he's even ramped it up even more. Every single time there's an opportunity, he stops in the tarmac and speaks. He's on Air Force One and speaks. In the cabinet room the other day, unbelievable question and answer. The question and answer was 48 minutes. I think the actual speeches from the president and Musk and everybody else was about 12 minutes. The transparency is real. Harrison, did he go in and did he say to you and the rest of the staff, Caroline Levitt on down, we're going to be as open and honest and take every question possible every single day to stay ahead of any negative narrative or just to educate the American people? Was this a plan?
This is who Donald Trump is. He wants to give access to the media because he understands that when he speaks to them, he's speaking to the entire world and the people that he loves, which is the United States citizens. This is who he is. It's really a continuation from his first term, which I had the privilege and honor of serving as well on the press team.
Right.
This is who he is. We'll be sitting down for lunch. We got a call from the Outer Oval that President Trump wants the press in. We said, for what? We don't know. He just wants to speak to the press. This is who he is. He wants to give them access. And with the recent announcement from Caroline Levitt that we're expanding the press pool to include secondary TV poolers like Newsmax or RAV, we are expanding this not just to conservative media, but for moderate media, even left-wing media. We had the Independent there yesterday, by no means a conservative outlet. We are expanding access to the White House, expanding access to the President of the United States. He loves taking their questions, even though they're a very hostile body towards him, because he understands he's not speaking to them. He's actually speaking through them to the American people. And the American people love to see a president, one, who could actually speak, but two, has the energy and the conviction to speak directly to them, because that's what the American people deserve.
You can't help but to notice the self-own by the AP and then the White House Correspondents Association that they really, really want to call it the Gulf of Mexico, and it's the Gulf of America. It clearly is the Gulf of America. You don't have any right to be in that room. You have no right to be on Air Force One or in the Oval Office. That's by invitation. That's a private setting. It's not him just walking around somewhere where anybody from the press can question him. But they self-own by pretending they have some authority through this White House Press, Association. And Caroline Levitt, so intelligently the other day, you just referred to this, said, yeah, I don't know why you guys think you set the rules. We actually set the rules. And that was because of the judge in that case, in that suit brought by the AP that they lost. The judge said, why is there a White House Press Association? And Caroline Levitt, like you just said, says the smart thing. We'll invite anybody in that we want. In fact, more outside alternative media. I mean, Harrison, do you agree with me? That was a self-own. The AP took this so far that they actually lost the power they thought they had.
Yeah, they overplayed their cards. I don't know what they thought a lawsuit was going to do for them, but it actually made their case a lot worse. But it just didn't make it worse for them. A lot of their colleagues are actually pissed now. They come to us and they're saying, oh, we're so mad. We're like, hey, talk to the AP. They did it to you guys, not to us. So, but the reality is what it did give us is an opportunity to do something that many administrations have tried in the past. The White House Correspondents Association has had such a stranglehold on that press briefing room, and who has access to intimate spaces like the Oval Office. We've said enough of that. We're going to open it up to anyone who's willing to come in and claim to be a reporter and have that access that so many people wish they had the opportunity to do this, and this is exactly what we've done. So it's not just the AP, Reuters, or Bloomberg. We're opening up to everyone, a lot more conservative outlets, podcasters, people that are on social media, people that actually have a following, because we know the mainstream media is dying. They're actually resorting more to programs like yours now.
Yes.
So we're reaching Americans where they're at. We're not going by this antiquated system. And I think the American people are really happy that we're doing this.
It's funny. It's true. They are coming to a program like mine. In fact, on TikTok, where conservatives aren't supposed to flourish, I've got 900,000 followers now because people just want the truth. They want something explained. Okay, they just did the budget thing the other day. What does that mean? Was there no tax on tips and overtime and Social Security? Let's explain how that works. The framework was there. The access that he's offering, as you said, he's talking to the American people through the media, but he's also, I think, putting the media on notice, and maybe you can comment on this, that if you say something wrong, I'm going to correct it through you. It's like he's not arguing with them in this time around. First time he argued more. Now he's just saying, that's incorrect, you're wrong, here's why. And we, the American people, get the benefit of the actual information.
Yeah, we say President Trump is the best spokesperson in this White House, and I get paid to be a spokesperson for him. But he is an amazing man at this job. He understands how the media works, but he also understands how the consumption of media works, which a lot of people don't have that skill level. He does an incredible job knowing how to speak to the media, knowing how to combat them in a way that they don't even know how to. It's really an unfair fight, we always say. But the American people see right through a lot of the media lies. And there's a reason why people aren't tuning in anymore. And this is why they have a lower favorability than Congress, which is a very hard thing to do in Washington, D.C., but the media has managed to do it. The American people know that the mainstream media is in the club of the Democratic Party.
Yes.
This is why they covered up Joe Biden's frailties for 4 years. This is why they said that President Trump was a Russian stooge. They have zero credibility, and all the credibility really lies in the President of the United States, which the American people resoundingly elected. So President Trump is operating at a position of strength, but he's also in that position because he has the facts on his side. It's so easy to win an argument when you are on the right side of that argument at every single point.
Yeah.
So our jobs are pretty easy because we've got a great story to tell. We have a great president who is working day in and day out to really correct the wrongs of the former administration. And it's only been 39 days. It feels like it's been 3 years, but it's only been 39 days. And we're just now getting started.
And he literally has gotten more done in 39 days in a transparent fashion than Biden did in 4 years. Biden did a lot, but it was all bad and anti-America. This is pro-America first, which I love. It's Harrison Fields. You know that I'm here in Texas. I've got 170 stations around the country, but I'm based in Texas. We are seeing the results of closing the border. We were told for years that the border is secure by Mayorkas and by Biden and by Harris and anybody else who would say it. They were lying. We know that they were lying. I mean, but is the number really 95% decrease in border crossings outside of the ports of entry? Can it really be that high?
It could be really be that high. We are doing something. Well, the funny thing about it, we're trying, right? Because
Yes.
we were just had an administration that didn't do anything, but a little effort. We got 95% stoppage at the border, which is incredible. The apprehensions are low, but we're actually apprehending people. We're stopping the flow of drugs into this country. We're sending people back at a record rate. We just created a portal in which we're asking and really telling the illegal immigrants that are still in this country to register so we can actually know who's in this country.
Right.
There was a situation under the Biden administration. We had 300,000 missing minors in this country.
Sick.
300,000 missing minors. How can anyone go to bed at night as a leader of this country knowing the 300,000 minors missing in this country? President Trump says enough. Tom Homan has announced that over 75,000 of those missing children have already been found. That means 75,000 children that have been saved from sex trafficking, from sex work, and even more atrocious crimes and assaults against them already. So we are making sure border security is a #1 priority. We've got an incredible Secretary of Homeland Security in Kristi Noem. Tom Homan is doing an incredible job. I saw a very funny tweet earlier today that Tom Homan effectively deported Vladimir Zelensky today. So just a little bit of humor there on that one. But we've got an amazing team here making sure that we have a secure border and a safe country.
Well, let me make it clear to you, I really appreciate you giving us the time and the access. We love the transparency from the administration. Anytime you want to come on, Harrison, let's do it again. It's Harrison Fields, Principal Deputy Press Secretary for President Donald Trump from the White House today. Thanks, Harrison. Appreciate you.
Good to be with you. Take care.
All right, my man. We're back after this. Stay right here.